Five, four, three, two, one.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Race Hangover's 11th episode. We didn't realize that it was the 10th episode last time, which is now one longer than half the tail was if you're an avid watcher of Sharp Sports Media. So, good job to us. We made it longer than um my show.
It was still our show last time.
Yeah. Yeah, you did majority of it. Who said that? Anyways, I just want to, before we get into the Austria Grand Prix, like whole recap and everything, I just want to point out the fact that on the preview episode last time, I did say that Williams were going to do well around this track. I was very adamant. I'm like, oh, they got straight line speed. Williams are going to do so well today. Um, I was 100% right. I couldn't have been more wrong.
No.
They didn't
Yeah.
even finish.
Well,
But
they didn't start, they didn't finish. And they also couldn't have been more wrong because didn't they have that tweet that said we're racing in Austria? Liars.
racing in Austria. No, you're not.
Mm,
No, you're not.
me when I
Um,
lie.
me when I lie. So that's what I got. It's our 11th episode. We're going to be reviewing the Austrian Grand Prix that just happened. Any final words before we head into the recap, Katie?
No.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention. I'm Austin Terry. She's Katie LeBoudler. In case you're very new on the 11th episode. Anyways, okay, let's head right into the recap, shall we? So on the formation lap, Carlos Sainz proceeded to not move, which was the start of the Williams downfall. And then when everyone was coming back, he managed to get it going. So he did a whole lap, but they abandoned the formation lap, and we're gonna do another one in like 10 minutes time or so. And when he got back into the pit lane, he was on fire.
He was like,
His rear brakes were on fire, and they extinguished it. But this I think this is twice that he's been on fire in Austria,
yeah, last time obviously with
which is
Ferrari, but
so crazy.
yeah.
Uh, he must hate that track. He must hate it so
That's
much.
I turned it on like a tiny bit late. Like usually I watch some of the preamble, but I literally turned it on like at 9 and I tune in and he's on fire and I was like,
What? I
what?
said I said to my dad, I'm like, wake me up for the formation lap. I get out of my bed as they're like in the middle of the formation lap. I'm not walking over. And then they're like, and signs hasn't moved. And I was like, oh,
Uh-oh.
this is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, that's what happened on the formation lap because I think this is the first time we've mentioned a segment for the formation lap on the recap. So congrats to us. Lap one, Oscar took Charles Leclerc because Lando covered off Leclerc and Oscar was able to easily get his way through. But the top three after that was Lando, Oscar, and Leclerc. And then going into turn two, it Kimi Antonelli proceeded to commit attempted murder on Max Verstappen by just shooting that the inside on that corner,
Just
locking
not
up his
turning.
rear, and just yeah, it was. I kind of like I didn't actually think a professional racing driver would do that move because like I texted it to you like I've done that
Yeah.
on the game several times because I'm not actually risking my life doing it. I'm gonna dive bomb, but that is insane. I mean,
Like,
he did get caught out. Like he had to go into the inside, or else he would
yeah.
have rammed in the back of someone. But he eventually just still ended up ramming Verstappen.
Yeah. And how Liam Lawson avoided all of that, I don't know. Because, like, if you look at the screenshot of like when Max and Kimmy are touching, Liam is like, I swear, like a centimeter right behind them. Like,
He he had the grace of something on his
yeah.
side that day. He had an amazing
He did,
weekend.
yeah.
But that proceeded to bring out a safety car, and then they bumble around in the safety car for a bit, which takes us to lap nine, where the Williams did something before the incident. Albon took P6, and good on him. But then lap 11 was the real thing that the cameras were really focusing on. Lando and Oscar's fight for first, which seemed to go on forever
Terrifying the whole
until the
time.
first set of pit stops. So Lando and Oscar are fighting. Oscar manages to get ahead based on DRS. Lando tries to switch back. They're straight racing down to turn three, and Oscar locked up a little bit, which allowed Lando to go through, and he kept his place for quite a while after that.
Yep.
Lap 12, Bortoleto took P7, And on lap 14, Lando made a teensy mistake into the gravel, which cost him a bit of time on Oscar, which couldn't get him out of the DRS. On lap 15, Tsunoda and Stroll had a little bit of an incident where they just collided together. It was unfortunate. Lap 17, the only Williams car left in the race retires. Alex Albon.
Why did he retire?
I don't know. I didn't see
Okay.
it.
I
I
was
was
I was on
I
and off watching.
they just panned the camera to the garage and they're like, oh, Alex Albon has retired. And I was like,
Yeah,
I think it must have been like a mechanical issue where
I
he
think
couldn't.
so. I saw a clip of the radio and it was like box to retire, and he was like, oh, he didn't
Yeah.
even say anything. He just went, ah.
Ah, they got me. But
I saw on
yeah,
Twitter that he's gonna have to start celebrating finishing races again, which is
that's so sad.
bring back the Albono points.
We need it. I bring back Williams points again. I
Yeah.
miss it.
Well, yeah, true. Bring back Carlos Q2. Fuck.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. He cannot get out of Q1.
No.
On lap 20, Oscar locked up on a dive bomb and almost took out both McLarens, which had like everyone stressing. I
Yeah.
watched the race with my dad, and after that, he's like, "Oh," and he goes, "You know, as a guy with no horse in this fight, it's a great watch." And I'm just like, I'm over there, like my heart's beating, I'm
Yeah.
sweating, I'm like, it's awful.
Yeah.
Because his horse was just chilling in P4 the entire time. So after that, lap 31, Yuki and Colapinto collided again. Well, not again, the first time. Colapinto spun and Yuki's front wing was cooked, which led us to Yuki getting a 10-second time penalty on that. Lap 54, Colapinto, the back marker squeezes Oscar into the grass, which was unreal.
Absurd.
There, like, I also he got a 5-second penalty for it, but how that wasn't like a 10 or anything? Like he
Yeah.
almost took like second in the race out of the race by
Yeah.
just not moving out the way and thinking he's racing him.
Yeah.
No, I think he was trying to get the slipstream off of Alonso or no.
I think so, but
Who was
like,
he fighting?
no, I don't think it was Alonso.
He was fighting somebody, I forgot.
Isaac, perhaps.
There was somebody. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw somewhere someone was like, Jack Doohan would never, like fellow Aussie, he would, which is true. But also, wasn't this Franco's fifth race? Decisions to be made, I believe.
I saw something where Bottas is being looked at now for the Alpine seat,
Probably. Because I think
which
Franco, I think his contract's over after this.
yeah, I mean, I wasn't like he started to get back into it. Like Colapinto was having a decent race-ish. Like he's had the last two, I think, have been decent for him, barring this one and like everything that happened to him.
Yeah.
But I don't think it warrants being dropped, but it's Alpine.
But
They're gonna
like,
do something.
yeah, I don't think what Doohan was doing warranted being dropped either, and yet.
You must have seen that Oscar radio after that.
Yeah. We'll talk about it later.
Anyways, on lap 57, Bortoleto takes eighth, and then the lap after that, Hulkenberg takes ninth, which secured double points for the kick
Absurd.
Sauber.
Double point.
Unreal.
Did you see
They-
that? This year they have more points than Red Bull second seat driver combined.
Yeah.
Brazil 2024.
Yeah, they're like they've turned that car around. It's not
They have.
it's not last in the grid. Honestly, that Red Bull without Verstappen is a back marker.
Yeah.
It is an awful car that he has somehow managed to squeeze every little bit of life out of it and get a win out of it. Unreal.
The fact
But
that he has any pole positions is insane.
it's like some tracks will work for that car that will bring
Yeah.
him up there, but there's some that he like he's an amazing driver. There's like no ifs, ands, and buts about that.
Yeah.
And then after that, there was just a bunch of backmarker stuff. Oscar was closing in on Lando, but on lap 70, Lando crosses the line and wins the Austrian Grand Prix, which sets up the podium of Norris, Piastri, and Leclerc. And they kind of just left Piastri alone in the cooldown room for quite a while.
Wow. But as soon as they got in, when the Franco thing happened, he's like, watch this, guys, watch this, watch this.
Yeah, he's like, hey guys, look what happened to me.
Look. And then they're like, what the hell?
Like when they were showing the video of Oscar almost colliding into Lando, like Leclerc was behind you. I was behind, like, yes.
Yeah. I love the cooldown rooms. They're so good.
It's so good, especially when it's like when like something crazy has happened, and then they all have to just like sit there and watch it and acknowledge it.
Yeah, for sure. But speaking of crazy things happening, what were your top three moments from this race?
Mine was okay. The first one I need to point out because I didn't mention it in the recap was Ferrari intentionally keeping Lewis Hamilton behind Charles Leclerc
Yeah.
on because they wanted to like to get the optimal time for a race. I understand that, but they want Leclerc wasn't racing anyone, Lewis wasn't racing anyone. At least like give them a chance to get you see what would happen
Yeah.
if like give Lewis the chance to get at like have a fight at him, keep him on the hards, see what happens. Like Leclerc probably would have taken him on those mediums, but
Yeah.
it was just still really strange, and I felt bad for Lewis because he was like begging them to stay out, and he like the
Yeah.
radio was so sad. He's like, guys, I don't want to pit, please.
Please, please. Yeah.
Was one of yours?
Well, I Carlos's car being on fire, not like in a good way, but like I saw a tweet that said you could take Carlos out of the Ferrari, but you can't take the Ferrari out of Carlos, which is just really funny, but horrible. Like the
Yeah.
poor guy has had such a tough past few weeks, obviously with the whole Q1 thing, and now
Mhm.
this. Not only is he starting from the back of the grid, but he's not starting, so unfortunate.
Yikes.
Yeah.
It's my second one was Antonelli and Max, not the crash, but
The
after the
debrief?
crash.
That
Yeah,
was really my next one.
he got his arm over whatever they were doing and they're walking together.
Yeah, that was my
Like
next one.
if that was George, they would have started scrapping. They would have started
I said
fighting.
I literally have in my notes if that was anyone else, they would have recreated that one F3 video where the guy gets out of the car and then sprints at the other guy and chases him down.
I was genuinely like, I think for a second, Max must have like seen Mercedes like into him, and like for a second was like, I swear to God, George, like,
Well, because on his radio he was like, "What the fuck are they doing?" And then he gets out. He's
yeah,
like, "Oh, Kimmy."
yeah. He's like, oh, come on, like, you know, it happens. Like all of us have done it at some point. Like, I just found it really funny, but it's like very good on him because like Kimmy's still a kid, like he's gonna make
Yeah,
mistakes like that, and like you know, don't like it's good to actually have him like. You know, just tell him like, "Hey, that sucks," instead of like going at him and being like, "What the
yeah.
fuck?"
Because like obviously he didn't do it on purpose. And his
No.
and Kimmy's like interviews after the race, he was like, "I'm so sorry." He's so his little like lisp mixed with his accent makes him literally sound 12, and it's so funny.
He's genuinely a child.
The child. Uh,
And you had that as your second, right?
yeah,
My third one was just the entire Max Lando battle for as many laps as it lasted,
Oscar.
and that Oscar. Oh, I said Max Lando. Yeah, damn. Oscar
Bro's
Lando.
last year, bro's in last year.
I was and but my main thing of that was the lockup that like had everyone just
Yeah,
like for a quick second. But
yeah,
it was actually amazing how Oscar was able to just breathe down Lando's exhaust and his tires were fine.
yeah.
Is
Like that one, like tires degrading? Just say no.
is insane.
Yeah, my third one was papaya rolls and brackets. I almost had a heart attack. Like
I always had a ton of attack.
insane. I also well, this is just hating on F1 Twitter as you
Mm.
do. But like the people on there who are like, and they said they couldn't race after Oscar was advised to not ram into the back of Lando. They were like, hey, that was a close call, maybe don't. And everyone's like,
Yeah,
you're saying they can't race when there was literally a radio. It's like, hey, Oscar, do what you want.
yeah. It was like, hey, do what you want. Don't do any
Don't take
50-50
them
rules.
out.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Don't do
like
anything that stupid again.
they're just
We
telling him
already
like
had Lando do that last week. Let's
they told him like, hey, take like take him if you
yeah.
can cleanly. Like, don't
Yeah.
dive bomb him because that
Which
like that screws the team.
well, yeah, that should be a given if you're teammates. Like obviously
Yeah,
race, and I'm glad they're letting them do that, and it's a fantastic fight, but like common sense, you know?
yeah. You know,
Something F1 Twitter lacks.
it's like
I
I
gotta go on
read
there to
things.
retweet the memes, and I'm like scrolling
Yeah.
through like
I read things and I genuinely believe I'm like, this has to be rage bait. There
it.
is no way you genuinely believe this. And it's like the stupidest thing I've ever read. Like I lose brain cells every time I read something and I just want to stay off it, but at the same time I'm like, I've got to see the reaction of what people are thinking.
Yeah,
Like
and like maybe do your job sometimes and post on there.
what every once in a blue moon. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, with that, let's go to our Race Hangover awards. Who was your driver of the day?
So I've realized in the past couple videos, I've given him such a bad rep and it seems like I hate him, but I really don't. I think he's all right. Gabriel Bortoleto was my driver of the day.
It
I
was I
think
just hated his helmet.
I hated his helmet, but I like always put him in like the Invisible Man award and like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like I realize it seems that I've been really harsh on him, but like now that they've given him a decent car, he got drive of the day. He had a mega drive. It was good.
Yeah, for sure. Um, in light of saying something different than that, I'm just gonna go with Lando because obviously holding off Oscar for literally 70
Hmm.
laps, crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people had really good races that were really shocking. But I kind of
Hmm.
just went with all of them for Comeback King because most of the really good races came from, besides Bortoleto, like 20th.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah, speaking of my Comeback King, Nico Hulkenberg.
I might as well.
I have Ocon as an honorable mention because he also got into points from like 17th or something.
Mhm.
But yeah, 20th to points is wild.
I wanted to give Liam Lawson something today. But I was like, he
There you
kind
go.
of started from there. He didn't really come back. I couldn't give him that one,
Yeah.
and I wasn't
But
going to give him
like,
driver of the day. But I just want to shout him out.
shout
Like
out Liam Lawson.
he did well. Your boy's
Becoming
doing
more and
well.
more likable by the second.
No, he is. He is. He is.
Um,
But yeah,
yeah, best radio, you kind of spoiled it, but I saw the Oscar thing like immediately after the race. The Alpine still managed to fuck me over after all these years later.
yeah.
How is that real? I
That's
thought
so
someone made that up.
that's
But
so
also,
funny.
radios all weekend were low key crazy. Like his
They're
one
so
during
funny.
qualifying, they were like, there was one where he was talking to no, that's Lando's. Who's
That's
his
nice.
engineer? Tom?
I think so.
Anyway, he was talking
Something
to
like
his
that.
engineer. I think it's Tom. He was talking to his engineer, and he was like, "Yeah, we're not gonna have time for another lap." And he's like, "Oh, fuck me." I was like,
He was crashing out. I was like,
he
damn.
really was, and it's so funny how hard his Australian accent comes out when he crashes out. Like,
Yeah. I don't want to hear any of this, like, oh, he shows no emotion. He crashed out the entire weekend.
all the time.
He showed
Yeah,
so much emotion this weekend. Like
yeah,
when they told him something, he goes, "Yeah, copy that." Like really sadly, and I was just like, "Oh my
yeah.
God."
When they said box, he was like,
Yeah.
"Okay." Yeah. But I saw that Alpine radio, and I was like, "What the hell?" And
That's
also, I was looking for the highlights video of the all the different radios, and
mhm,
at first, F1 made that the thumbnail of the video.
mhm.
And they changed it now. It's not that anymore. And I was like,
Yeah.
ooh,
They didn't air it like on like
no,
the actual race. They were not gonna air that, but
no.
I think they should have. Like they just beep out.
They
But
kept it in the like the
yeah,
highlight video.
they did that, but I was like, come on, like that would have been amazing to hear on the actual race. So
So
you don't
funny.
see it afterwards and think, is this real?
I was like, that has to be fake. But
I
then
thought it was AI. I
it was a
100%
video
thought it
of
was
it.
AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
Was that yours or
my radio, no, it wasn't actually. It was Oscar was catching Lando, and Lando goes on the radio and says, "I need pace,
any big?
help me." It was
He
to
almost
help me at the end. I heard that. I was like, oh no. I was like, this is gonna get used on Twitter so much. And
yeah.
like I saw all the comments to it, they're like, just use the accelerator, buddy. Like,
So
but
funny.
I
It's
knew what
same.
he meant to say. It was
Yeah.
just worded so poorly, and I
Well,
found
it's
it
like the same
hilarious.
as his Monaco one where he's like, "Where's Oscar? I need him." Like
He really needs to like actually I'm
he just
enjoying this, but he needs to think before he goes on the radio.
he just gets so lonely when he's winning a race. He doesn't see anyone in front of him. He's like, "I need to talk to someone."
Yeah. I need pace, help.
Help.
And then they were like, yeah, your front wing's damaged. I was like, when did that happen?
Yeah, well, because he went in right when he went into the cool down room. He's like, "Oh, look at my front wing." And I was like, "What?"
You knew that?
Yeah,
Um, who
Invisible
was
Man.
your invisible man?
Isaac Hadjar.
Oh yeah.
He's been having a really good season, obviously, but he kind of disappeared this weekend, which is unfortunate because I enjoy when he is doing well.
I had Lance Stroll.
Yep, fair enough. But he had that
But
incident you were
he
talking about.
had that one incident, but I even forgot that was him involved in the incident.
Yeah.
That was how much I forgot he was on the track. But I also like want to mention I saw like almost nothing of Ocon.
Yeah, true. And he had a great race.
Yeah, he had a decent race, but I saw like I don't think they mentioned him at
Him
some point.
and Ollie.
I
They
saw one thing about Ollie of him just taking someone, and that was
yeah,
it. I was just like, there was a lot of drivers that were forgotten about because
because of
the
the
race
Lando and
up top
Oscar.
was
Yeah,
happening,
for sure.
but because all their moments were just a replay or something, they didn't
Yeah.
cut to them.
hmm
Who,
Break check
who's your
champ.
break check champion?
Okay, so Franco Colapinto.
Oh,
I know Kimmy like obviously had the big
mhm.
one, but like Franco had like a few little ones, and the one on Oscar is just so insane.
That is yeah.
So I went with
I
that.
I had kind of two. The
Yuki.
obvious one of Kimmy, and
Yeah.
I did have Yuki as well because
Yeah.
that 10-second penalty, and like bumping Stroll as well was just insane.
Yeah.
So
Word.
yeah, and he's the one that spun Colapinto as well. So
It's
yeah,
everyone.
that's honestly the back of the grid was just beefing the entire
Yeah.
time. It was a good watch though.
Front of the grid beefed real quick and then, but even, I guess not front, like kind of mid. Because, like,
Mhm.
what would Max start? 7?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel bad. That's like Red Bull's home race,
Yeah.
and one of their drivers finished last. The other one didn't even finish the race, and it was
Yep. Hey, thank God for Racing Bulls, though.
yeah, they did something.
You sure did.
Lawson. I thought like Hadger was just blowing Lawson out of the water, but he's had like the past two Grand Prix. He's been
Austin's been
working.
solid.
He's been working.
Yeah.
Yeah, he like I think he's just regaining confidence again after
Yeah.
like that Red Bull destroyed him.
And consistency. Like, he obviously has far less races than Isaac in the Red Bull or in the Racing Bulls. Like,
Yeah, he's just getting his like his mojo back, and he's getting
yeah.
comfortable again. Which I think like they should keep those two as the RB drivers again
For
next season.
sure.
There is no reason like Lawson, if he can keep doing well, I don't think he should get like if he can keep doing well on the RB, I don't think he should get moved to a topper team. But like if they can put him in like an Aston Martin or something, like one
Yeah.
of those mid-table teams, actually, the Aston Martin is like they've got Nui now. I think they might be very
Oh,
good next
yeah.
year. But if they can put him in a car that
Yeah.
isn't a Red Bull Junior
Throw him in the
program. Like, get him
Sauber.
out of that.
Throw him in the Sauber.
Yeah, right now. Put him in the Cadillac.
What's the one from the movie? The APX whatever?
APXGP or
Get
something.
him in it.
I want to talk about the movie for a second.
Okay. We
I
should watch it.
I think I'm gonna go watch it on Friday.
Okay. Well, maybe not next week, but next off week we'll do a review.
Yeah, but I just saw that one clip where spoiler alert before any of you get if any of you haven't seen it and want to watch it, where the like he's sitting in a club or something, a girl comes up to him and like, "Hey, are you one of the drivers?" And he goes, "Yeah, I am." And,
Oh, I know.
what team? And he's like, "Oh, APXGP. Can you introduce me to Carlos Sainz?" I thought it was just really funny. I was like, unreal. And then
I
everyone's like,
haven't
"Why not Leclerc?"
I haven't seen the clip, but I've heard like I saw a tweet
It's
about it.
so
That's so
funny.
funny. Yeah.
I think, but I did see something about like they did every female character, and that's so dirty.
Yeah, it does not pass the Bechdel test.
No, and yeah, it's like it's brutal. But Sky Sports did well because I saw them interview like almost every like woman they
Yeah.
could see in the paddock, and I was like, that's good on them because
Well,
they
'cause
realized like the F1 movie
it
was
was
good.
also like Women in Engineering Day, not
That
that.
as well, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think also a good thing of
Yeah.
I think everyone knows that movie is a bit like there's no need to have Brad Pitt in the end and your engineer be a love interest. Like,
Nope. Did not
no,
need to happen. I'm still gonna watch the movie, but
just
downside.
I will be booing the second anything bad
I'm
happens to a woman. Standing up, boo.
Yeah. The other thing I want to say on the movie is I texted you about this when I was at a restaurant on a patio the other day, and like one person and I live in the middle of like nowhere, not expecting F1 fans, whatever. Someone walks by in a Lando Norris jersey, and so I text Austin. I'm like, oh my God, someone just walked by in a Lando Norris jersey, like in my hometown. This is crazy. And then 2 minutes later, someone walks by in just like a Ferrari jersey, and I was like, that's so weird that there's like two people in F1 merch like walking by back to back. That's whack. And then I look up and I'm at a restaurant directly next to a movie theater and like 40 more people walk in F1 merch. And I was like, right, right, that makes sense.
That's it.
That
Yeah.
would do it.
I will be wearing my Lando jacket to the movie theater.
I don't have any F1 merch.
To be fair, it's really expensive. Like you buy one piece of merch and you cling onto that for like
I know.
ages.
I need to hit up American Eagle or whatever.
Hollister, American Eagle, all those things have something there. Did you see that picture of they put a picture of Lando in the Red Bull
In the middle of
section?
the Red Bull. Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
what is he doing there?
Yeah, that's kind of all I have from Austria. Anything looking to Silverstone next weekend,
Kimmy's three-place grid penalty.
right?
You
First,
got
I just want to do baby's first penalty. Poor kid.
yeah, he got a brutal grid penalty,
Yeah.
and the Lando stand. I'm actually really excited to see
Yeah,
that
me
and
too.
its full effect.
And when it's
Imagine
not
it's just all neon. It's gonna be
going to be,
That's gonna be like
I've seen
insane.
like people dyeing their hair fluorescent. Like it's gonna be actually crazy. And he tweeted that they have lots planned, like especially with Monster and his new Monster. Like I think there's gonna be a lot of PR to be done with the Lando stand, and I think it'll be
Mhm.
entertaining. I saw some car, like supercar wrapped in the blobs that's
Yeah,
been leaked. Like I think there's gonna be a lot going on.
it's yeah.
Waiting for a
I think
Heat
it'll
and
be
Prey
really good.
appearance. That's what I'm hoping for.
I really think she'll probably just appear randomly. But isn't is she on? I don't
She's
know if
on
she's on.
tour, but she was just in London, so
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know.
time. There's time. She
I
can
don't.
she can pop up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Lewis, I'm really scared for him.
Yeah. I
I'm Ferrari's gonna find a way to screw him,
yeah,
and
well,
it's gonna
because
be
I've seen like
so
what's
funny.
more powerful, like Lewis in Silverstone or Ferrari fucking up their strategy. We'll see.
I think you'll just be happy to see a podium. I like
I think everyone would be.
I would be. I mean, yeah, everyone would. Everyone usually likes Lewis,
Yep.
but if
Need
like
that Lewis, Russell.
if Ferrari screw him, I think he'll crash out. I genuinely believe he'll crash out because that's like Silverstone's his baby. Like he loves
Yeah.
that track, and he's if he doesn't aura form one iconic moment, like every
Then
Grand
it's a
Prix,
waste.
yeah, it's a waste for him.
Yeah. Needing that Lando, Russell, Lewis
Um,
podium.
I
Okay.
like he got the Lando stand by like paying for it, right? You pay for it, surely.
Yeah, you like to get in, you buy tickets for the
No, like to like Lando to buy the stand
I'm
to get the Lando
sure
stand. He must have paid for it because my dad was like, "Why does Lando get a stand? Why isn't it Lewis Hamilton's stand?"
because he
And
organized it. Like
I was like, he probably paid obscene amounts of money, like, and also
yeah.
like Lewis doesn't kind of care about stuff like that.
He just Aura Farms. He doesn't need people.
The first ever environmentally friendly stand, Lewis Hamilton.
Vegan stand, you're not allowed to eat meat in that section. But you have to use an eye.
I need the Roscoe stand.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Roscoe's gonna be there. He's 100% gonna be there. I'm so excited. The real star of the F1
You think
movie,
Leo's
Roscoe
gonna be
Hamilton.
there? Leo.
Will they? I don't care for Leo. Unpopular opinion. I don't care for that dog. I only care for Roscoe.
What?
I don't care for Leo. I see him all the time, and I'm like, no, I don't need to see this dog everywhere. It's tiny. I don't like it. Like
Oh. Okay.
I want to see Roscoe Hamilton. Yeah, he aura farms. It's an insanely.
What can I say? Runs in the family.
They gotta get. I genuinely fear they're gonna have like a Roscoe and Leo like photo shoot at some point, like aura
For
farming.
sure.
100%.
Haha.
They've met at some point, haven't they? I think I
I
saw a
think
clip of
so.
that.
I think there's already been photo of them together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not a Leo believer, and if this blows up and people pull it back to that, I'm gonna get so much hate for
I will be
that.
living it, so
Me crashing out over a tiny dog.
yeah. TikTok will
Oh,
be hearing about this.
we've got minions now for the race hangover. We've got minions to do our editing and clipping and bidding.
Well,
No, not all of
I
it.
still do a lot of it,
You
but
still do a lot of it, but we've got I call
what
them
help?
minions. This is really unfair.
And one of them is
We got
one of them is going to
employees.
Silverstone.
Exactly. We got
So
employees.
content.
We're gonna get some good content out of them, and most importantly, they're gonna make me look very good.
I've instructed them not to.
Ah, yeah. Or
Okay,
if I
Alex
could,
Albon on the radio.
if I could open Adobe, oh man.
Austin's only opened Adobe once in his life, and it was to make Casley. And
That picture is so scary. You messaged me at like 1 a.m. yesterday, and it came up like the picture, and I was
oh,
just
because
like,
it's you made it my
yeah, I used your profile
contact.
picture on iMessage, and it scared the life out of me because I'm like, what the hell is?
That's awful.
I'm gonna if I ever get hold of your phone, that's your profile picture
Like on Instagram?
on everything.
The thing
You
is,
leave
it
your
would
phone
probably.
unattended one time, and it's everything.
Hell no. Anyway, um, that's all I had for this episode. Anything else you would like to add?
Nope, that's all I got.
That's all. All right. Well. that is today's episode. That's a recap of the Austrian Grand Prix, a little preview of Silverstone, more about the dogs than about the actual race, but that's all right. The less Austin says, the less we can hold him accountable to, because clearly the Williams thing didn't pan out. So we're just gonna hold
No,
back we're gonna hold
no
back the
more,
predictions.
no more predictions from me
No
ever.
more. But if you enjoyed, do follow us on everything at the Race Hangover. Just the Race Hangover on X, Instagram, and TikTok. And subscribe here on YouTube at Shuttersport Media. Check out our YouTube shorts. Some funny stuff over there. It's a lot of same stuff as TikTok, but it does better on shorts. So, whatever. That's all we have for this week. We will see you next week with a Silverstone recap. Be sure to see you then.
Yes, please, please be there. Please be
Be
there.
there. Be there. Praying for a all British podium.
That would be insane.
It's possible.
Genuinely, I love how like in the graphic, first of all, I actually do have more to say. They put in the graphic and it was just Lando, Lewis, George, and then like Bierman was just there. And
Ollie.
it was just like these three big dogs and then Bierman,
And they usually only put 3, but they're like, okay, throw the kid in.
the kid in. They should have made him like really small. Like
Did you see? Okay, wait, last thing. Did you see the someone's like fixed it and added Paddington in like One Direction?
they also added Albon.
I know.
I like that one. I think
Nope.
we,
Keep Paddington out of Formula One.
yeah, she despises Paddington because she's an awful person. Someone who represents joy, whimsy, niceness, kindness,
I hate
everything
that
good in the
fucking
world.
bear.
She
I
hates
hate
that
him.
bear.
Hate that bear. Not Ollie though. Love that bear. Anyway, that's all for today's episode. We will see you next week, next Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye.